Hi guys, this is my week 3 video reflection, and we've done a lot of talking and discussing this week, and but one interesting kind of story we've talked about is the story of the Buddhist deity Palden Lama, and she is kind of one of the most revered uh, Buddhist deities, and this is very interesting because she's depicted as wrathful and angry and kind of dark, and well, she uses these traits to fight and defeat demons and criminals, and she actually sets them on kind of a better path when they're reincarnated after they're defeated, and she helps them and just makes the world a better place in general. And this is kind of interesting because in our culture we kind of see these traits as bad and how you should never have them and how you should avoid them. Um, but in this case, they're exactly what allows her to help people and improve the world. And yeah, we've done a lot of talking in general, and we've talked about some really intriguing and interesting things, but I honestly don't remember many of the details of what we talked about. But I'm not really bothered too much because I've kind of felt like a subtle change in myself uh, after we talked about these things, and so I think my body's kind of aware um, of like the lessons of those things that we talked about, even if my mind doesn't necessarily remember all the details. And this week I've started to observe significant changes in myself that have occurred since the first week. And in the area of meditation, we've worked up to I'm not sure exactly. I think around maybe a 35-minute sit, and I'm now able to stay more still now, even like nearing the end of a 35-minute sit than I was um, to stay than I was able to at all in the first week. But it's still not quite perfect yet. I think a big part of this is that I finally found a posture that works well for me. Also, things have been fairly quiet in the outside world when we're meditating for a while now. But things are picking up a little bit now that more groups are returning from their trips, and the noise is starting to come back a little bit. And a big problem that I had during the first week was that my ego had become very attached to these outside noises, and it took advantage of them to kind of distract my attention away from my body. And yeah, now that the noise is starting to kind of pick up a little bit again, I've noticed that I've become significantly better at keeping my attention on my body in spite of what's going on in the world around us. And yeah, I'll be interested to see how this will go next week when pretty much everyone's back. And after one sit that we did um, this week, we kind of imagined ourselves flying around the world, and this was a crazy experience. It really had a huge impact on some people, and they like saw their families in different countries and things like that. And um, I myself, um, I kind of went everywhere. I didn't really go to one specific place. I was in different countries and cities all around the world, and I just kind of observed people living life, the good things, the bad things, all of it. And it was really interesting because somehow I was able to kind of like not just see what was going on, but kind of feel it. I could feel their emotions and their feelings, and so that was a really neat experience. And at the dojo this week, we worked on the element of wind, which is all about letting go of useless space and moving to where your potential is maximized and just being unencumbered in general. And one thing that we've done with it is knife. We did a bit of like knife training, and the instructors brought out these like electric shock knives, and they're very scary. They were you could hear the electricity, you could see it, and it actually feels like you're being cut when they touch you with it. And this this completely changed the dynamic of our training. They went from just kind of going through the motions without a sense of urgency or fear with your training partner, to really bringing out the true feeling of a fight, like the fear that comes with it, the adrenaline, and yeah. And we also started to look at the void element, and I'm not going to say too much about this because we only worked on it for one day at the dojo, and we'll continue with it next week. But the void element is all about not limiting yourself and kind of maximizing your creativity by drawing from each of the four other elements. And so yeah, I'm very interested to see where we'll go with that next week. And yeah, those are the things we've done this week.